What's going on, guys? Good Lord, this box is big. So we have finally come to the actual review of the Bandai Star Wars 1/5000 scale plastic model kit Star Destroyer lighting model. First production limited. Tons of words. Whew. And also, this is a huge box. I can come back further, but I'm really stretching my distance here, so you can even see my review set over here. That's how far away and how big this box is. Probably one of the largest boxes I've ever had to have for a review, which means I can't actually reach it from behind the camera. So this will be interesting. So we got big old artwork here of the opening scene of Star Wars: A New Hope. We have the Star Destroyer from behind, all the nice thrustery bits going on there, laser beams going that way, what looks like a moon, what looks like a Tatooine, and a itty bitty ship hiding over here, running away. Wow. And then, of course, you got includes LED unit way down here in the bottom corner. Big old Bandai logo in that corner, and hey, light reflections. Those are always good. And come down to the side, we've got a nice shot of the Star Destroyer here. You got little bitty pictures of it down here from the movies. I can probably pull it in a little closer. Like that. You actually get a little read up there. If you want to pause and squint your eyes at it, by all means. And then we come here. We see the actual model, the rear view. Plastic model kit was made various modeling techniques based on very actual materials from the films for produced and details. True. Side view. LED. So you can see how the things light everything up. Even to the little hangar bay and stuff. And then I'm out of room, so now I have to move the camera sideways. And then we've got a lot more details like that. Molded details and stuff. Yeah, too much room. Star Destroyer, 5,000. Shot of that. Cool. Seriously heavy. So you've got the LED lighting stuff up there. 1/5000 scale. All the lights. Commentaries. Commentaries of the actual shooting model by Seiji Takahashi are included in the instruction manual. That's true. Display bases. Millennium Falcon and Blockade Runner, the same scale, are also included. Stand with to display them, also included. Star Destroyer. First production limited. Comes with the clear parts if you wanted to actually do things even crazier. I don't know why, but you could. Special booklet introduces example piece using clear exterior parts by professional modeler Dorobu Hige is included. And box art and all that. I actually like that. That seems to be like the standard box, and you've also got the executor here and stuff like that, so that's not bad. And then if you got it, the LED was sold, or this one is sold separately, LED unit included. There's a reason this kit's expensive. And read the instruction manual. Plastic model kits, PS, ABS, PE. I don't know what's polyethylene in this, to be honest. You've got all the numbers and things. LR44 batteries. I'm sorry, LR44s. AAA batteries, LR03s, which I never knew were a thing, are not included. You got the little guy with the toilet, stuff like that. Big old spaceship, still upside down. Not easy. I'm sweating just from moving this box. Good God. Alright, guys, so obviously you guys have hopefully been following the build log, so you don't really need to see a whole lot more. So let's just get to it. Plus, there will be a change happening right after this. Dun 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 dun. All right, guys, here is the Star Destroyer out here, all nice and done. Of course, you guys have been following the build logs, right? Right. And I'm gonna move the camera ever so slightly here. Now, this is, of course, the new for light-colored objects. Black Shoky background. Kind of some felty feeling material. Not actually sure what it is. If you're watching the build logs, you've already seen this. Now, it is just sitting here on the surface, just for the heck of it, so you get some nice contrast for photos and whatnot, which I took quite a lot of if you're following the Instagram and everything like that. And you can see that, well, it's very pretty. I've got a lot of gray happening here, kind of whitish. Also got some battle damage going on, along with some other things like that. Now, let's just take closer look at the surface here. You can see the very fine surface details and panel washes. Little blaster mark there. You can even see my Aztecing coming across ever so lightly. Got some crud happening here and there. Some super fine detail along the edges. Then some cruddy weathering around the edges parts there. Another blaster shot. Some more of my up close Aztecing. More side stuff. I'm trying to figure out if these are some of the laser cannons or just other details. I don't actually know what those are. You can see some more of that beautiful Aztecing. Big old blaster shot right there, which is just done with weathering powder, kind of making it, you know, a splotch and then spreading it out, and then hitting it with a tiny bit of dry brushing of the actual color of the paint. Got some more crud happening there. You can see on the sides here. Now, of course, this has mostly been done with a gunk wash as well. You can see the thruster bits here. Super nice molded detail in the thrusters. Has been weathered up a bit. Did not take any of the oil wash back here. This is all just a little bit of dry brushing. Several different grays depending on what they are. So this is a different gray than this. These little bits under here are a different gray. And then just weathered with some of the dust. Got some nice stuff here. I don't actually know what this is. I think that was the trash chute. I'm not sure. Just a big open gap. You can see back here all the windows and the molded detail, which looks fantastic. And then if you look right here, oh, you get a tiny little Millennium Falcon. Now, let's see if I can get it to focus on just that spot. Might not be easy. Hold on. Now, the reason I mounted it there was just because, frankly, I didn't like it on the accessory stand. I actually preferred to have it mounted there. That was fun. I did actually paint that thing up a little bit. A couple little mishaps here and there, but looks cool. I did just pre-drill a small hole and glued it in place. But I really do dig that. I mean, you can just see the ridiculous surface detail on this thing. Some more battle damage there. It looks like some scrapes as well. Maybe some bird poop. Really heavy hit here. I love the nice detail of the like shield generators that just pop out the top, because the Empire was real smart with that design. And got the bridge and all that. Oh, it's super fine detail. I digs it. And of course you see all the nice Aztecing that took me days to do. And then a nice little hit there with some crud. Now this one is meant to have seen some battles and stuff like that. And if we come to the bottom, might have to reposition my camera ever so slightly, because it gets wide. You can see a lot of stuff. Now I didn't do any major weathering down here or anything like that. I figure the top mount is where everything's gonna go. So that's like a smaller fighter bay and stuff like that. And then this is for the bigger one. It's where the blockade runner got run into, and you can see all the details. Let me see if I can. Yeah, look at that. It's got like even a little capture arm in there, which I did break. It got caught on a Q-tip or brush or whatever I was using to get in there. It snapped off, so it's just sort of glued in place. Now, one thing that's not in the instructions is whether or not that is actually meant to hold the blockade runner in place. It looks like it might, but I can't get it to do it if it was meant to. I like this little dome section here. I like the way that it caught the oil wash and stuff like that. You got all those sections, and you can see now how when weathering this and trying to figure out the Aztecing, the fact that it is a random pattern, there is nothing that's the same side to side. It's just crazy. But I'm super proud of this, if I'm honest. And if I really wanted to, I could throw in some more battle damage and stuff down here if I really meant to. It wouldn't be that big a deal. It does look really good, just kind of chilling on this background. And I don't have my rear lights on because I feel like it's not necessary. I really want to see what's going on here. But what's cool is if I turn like this light off, you get these like heavy shadows. But since we're actually trying to look at the surface of this thing, we'll stretch it out. Now this thing is like 12 some odd inches long, which is cool. So 1/5000 scale thereabouts. Now we do go over the accessories here. So it does come with the nice display base, which is filthy just from being here. And so I need to clean that up. And it does come with the little Tanta 4 blockade runner, which I did custom paint, as you saw in the build logs. Now the red paint did sort of get away from me. It is done with the Gundam marker, and trying to do some dry brushing on it actually caused it some issues, but you can see that I even painted the thrusters and such. And it is super cool. Where's my focus? And one thing with this black background, it actually allows me to use my normal autofocus. It's kind of cool, but I digs it. Let me see if I can... There we go. So I don't have to get it as close. Looks cool. I mean, it's even got the gun mounts and stuff like that. Kind of molded in. Like I said, I tried to do some dry brushing after it was clear coated, and you know, it only worked so far. Now the way the stand works is pretty simple, just a cradle type situation, but it's meant to go in a very specific spot. So this shape is meant to fit right here. Now, it doesn't like to necessarily go in that spot. It likes to fall into the ship bay quite often, if I'm honest. But it does hold it up very nicely. It's actually a very regal display. And then, of course, you do have your ships here. Now, this is just in a little peg. So if you don't want this in here, you can totally just remove this like that. And then it does have a hole for the Millennium Falcon to chill in, and that's all it is. And then you have just that little peg. Now, if you really wanted this to be like out here or something like that, it almost would be prudent if you wanted a permanent display to have like some fishing line or something just holding it out. Now, just real quick, because I mentioned it, let's actually take a look here. So that's the little capture claw. It looks like, I really do bet that in its original form before I broke it, it was meant to clasp that. It's too close to be a coincidence, in my opinion. Let me see if I can do this. Now, I would have said maybe put some magnets in this thing to have that hold on a little bit better than it does. And it's something you could always do in your own custom down the line. You know, put a little plate, put a magnet inside, and try to hold it in place. Now, some people are telling me I need to like hang it up like from the ceiling or something like that. No, this thing is kind of heavy because it is stacked with some lights. So, and mind you, this is the lighting edition, which is about $130-ish, depending on where you pick it up. And what you want to do here is just grab these sides and sort of wiggle it. Clear the front, clear the sides, clear the back, lift straight up. And there's our LED system. It doesn't want to focus on. So let me see if I can reposition the camera ever so slightly here. So we got this nice reflective piece. So the internal bits, as we've seen along the way with the build logs, are all this super reflective part here. And you have your bits here. Now I want to talk about this right quick before I get into there. So due to some light leaks, due to gaps, this entire piece here I have actually glued down from the inside, and I've glued a lot of these pegs that hold all that together in place so it won't want to flex. They give you some black stickers to try to block some of the paint or some of the light leaks through there. You can use those, or if you really want to, just glue the way I did, use some sprue glue. But I had some light leaks coming through this crack here, all along here, and all through there. Now I did go through and glue from the inside. There was in fact a small tab right here. I don't know if it was ever meant to be removed, but it was in the way. It was keeping this whole section from sitting the way it was supposed to. It was actually making it very hard to remove or put back in the hole here, because you had to actually get things lined up, because it has these grooves that are supposed to line up to stuff. Same thing here. But I ran glue all along that inside spot. You can see somehow it affected this little corner. So I've glued all of that from the inside to really kind of secure it and hopefully stop any light leaks. But one thing I'll say about it is that it seems like these LEDs really, really drain batteries, because these were brand new batteries that I put in just the other day, and it's already seemingly dimmer than it was when I started then. It's still really bright, but if you aren't watching the build logs, I'll pull this off so you can see the LEDs controller right in there. Now they give you this little guy right here. That's just a thing to turn on the switch. So you've got the first switch, which turns on the 4 lights and the side lights. That's 4 as in forward, not the number 4. And you want to kind of push it back. So these little tabs, just sort of slide it back. And then the sides don't really clip down the way they're supposed to. But you can see here the lights coming out the sides and out there. Just give me a second. Put the top back on, and you can sort of see some of the light coming out, but with the super heavy lights in front of it, not really. So turn that one off, and we can see a little bit better there. So the lights underneath and the lights all along the side there. In fact, I'm going to turn this light off too, so we can really see what's going on. Yeah, I know it's going to be fuzzy and whatnot. It's darkness. It is what it is. But this is just to show off the lights and how bright they are. Like, this section has no lights. This section all around here. Now, I think I ended up blocking off some of these holes right here, because the holes are there for windows. So either those got blocked off, or there's not meant to be any lights there. Now, mind you, this is only from that front switch. And you can still see some areas that there's some light leaks right through there. And right there, so this needs to be pushed down ever so slightly. But I had like a very unsightly gap until I glued it. But that front section, just that light looks cool, and it also does the bay underneath. That looks super neat. Let's see here. Oh, that's not helpful. Okay, so either way, you get that. Now let's turn on the other switch, which if you're doing it, you got to slide this forward again, pick this up, and it's the rear switch that's back here underneath the wires. Now, I'm using my spudger to do this. You can use your tool they give you, and you want to push it back. And then that turns on the lights that go up to the bridge and the lights for the thrusters. Now we carefully put this back on. And now, because even in the direct light, you can sort of see this. With my autofocus gone. There we go. So you can see the lights on the bridge lighting up, and you sure as heck can see the thruster lights come on. Even here, whatever this technically thing is. I think that might be the garbage chute. I'm not sure. I know that was roughly where the garbage came out when the Millennium Falcon flew away. Which, by the way, I can't remove that anymore. Left I break the glue. I like how I get some nice things here. But I love they use blue LEDs for this, so that's neat. Now if you want to see how bright those kind of are, there it is with the lights off. I mean, you can even see it's enough to light the ground. Now, when I first put these fresh batteries in, it was lighting up half the room, but it wasn't daylight. It was also night. So if some of these lights, or if the daylight goes away, you'll be able to see more. But this is in just a bare semblance of some daylight, no other real lights happening. You see how bright this gets. You can see the lights directly right there. So this is really freaking cool. The side lights, the thruster lights, the bridge lights, even up here. I digs it. I digs it a lot. And get a little bit of light leak right through there. But, I mean, that's just cool. I mean, that is like the big selling point for this thing, is the lights. Now, if you were so inclined, as I mentioned in the unboxing, you could totally do individual fiber optics for this. So every single one of those holes you could run a fiber optic thing to, if you were crazy. Now, of course, you can turn off the front lights and leave only the thruster lights on, depending on how you want it, or you can leave all the lights on like this. But you can sort of see, like, I noticed when my batteries were low that if I turned on the front one and then turned on the second one, the front one dimmed, I should say. Actually, I can see I can see a line of light right across there. So I can't actually take this piece apart anymore, but I might be able to remove it and get inside and really close it up. But you can see how stupid bright that this LED is. This one, the way it's pointing, I don't know if that's a big deal. And then there's another one up here that lights up the entire front section. I mean, I don't know that it's the batteries again, because they're brand new AAA batteries. So, I mean, I don't know that that's the reason why, and maybe it's a little dim, or the fact I'm staring at really bright lights. But it seemed like the other night when I put these batteries in, it was super bright, even with the lights on. Like the camera could see it without even messing with anything. But that also wasn't under direct lighting. Like right now, I don't even have my overhead lights on. Hold on. Okay, so that's just with my normal overhead light on. So you can see for the most part. So maybe that's the difference. You know, extreme lighting. Now, one thing you need to make sure is that you tuck your wires away, out of the way, because I have actually pinched off one of them to a degree, but it luckily had no effect that I could tell. Now, this light just doesn't seem to be happy. Like, really want to just kind of cram it down. Now, of course, you could probably glue this in place if you were so inclined, but let's just see here. With lights on, tuck everybody away. One thing that's important, like I said, that shield in there, so to speak, over everything does matter. Like, it can be totally in the way. So I can't tell if that's got blockage or not, or if that's blocked out the paint. But you can see here, so in my non-direct lighting, you can see the light. So, I mean, it's not ridiculous. But I do feel like the thrusters aren't super bright like they were. But the nice infinite blackness of my background now is actually pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to keep this 100% of the time, but it works for the time being, at least. So, but size comparison, because that's important with these, because it is a 1/5000th scale, which means nothing to anybody. But there's Wally. You know, you guys know Wally. I'm gonna go ahead and kick a light on here so we can get some super details. And then next to the last Star Wars ship we looked at, which was quite some time ago, I mean, that's it next to the 1/72nd Y-wing. I mean, get it off the stand, which it has not been off the stand in quite some time. Oop, it just got some dirt on my brand new thing. So there it is next to the Y-wing. So you can see that obviously it's not going to scale to any ships elsewise, unless they do another 1/5000th run of something, you know. Oh, that's going to drive me nuts now. I'm going to have to dust that off. One quick thing. Let's do turntable time just for the heck of it. Okay, so second attempt at this, because the first time was not filming for some strange reason. So, do the finale here, final thoughts on the turntable. So, this kit is awesome. The details are ridiculous, as we've seen. The molded detail is crazy. The fact that they give you the ability to light it, whether you want to buy the purposeful Bandai kit for it, or pay the extra money for this version that comes with it, or if you really want to spend the time to do your own, whether it's your own full-on light system, they already give you the channels and stuff to run the wires and set the lights in, or if you want to do full fiber optics like a crazy person. I love the fact that it comes with a tiny version of the Blockade Runner and the Falcon. Of course, you don't have to do what I did with mine and, kind of hide it away. And also, I think you could get this, build it as a straight build, maybe just panel line, or just do a quick panel wash of it to bring out the surface details, and you could call it a day. Um, Also, sort of wish maybe there was only a partial lighting kit so you could get the thrusters instead of everything else. And it's clear the Bandai's version of this lighting kit that comes with 12, 12 lights or something like that, but also has multiple ports, so you could run lots and lots of lights off of this thing. But being that it's powered directly by three AAAs, it does seem to run down fairly quickly, even with the fact that these aren't super strong LEDs. So even after only a few uses, it seems like the power has dropped down on even brand new Energizer Max batteries. And as kind of discussed during the unboxing, if you really wanted to, you could probably run USB power. Most USB blocks have 5 volts, 3 AAAs is about the same as 3 AA's, which is 4.5 volts. So you could probably get it there and not worry too much. So if you really wanted to rewire this thing for a USB power and then maybe hide the cord somewhere, that's the only problem with this, is the fact that the base, I would have preferred to have the base be where the power goes in and out. So if you really wanted to do a big custom, do up a special base with the USB power source running up into the lighting set and probably go from there, because there's no way to hide it at this point, and there's no real USB power sources that are slim enough to fit in there along with the battery pack. But either way, it's a cool kit. It's a really neat system. Definitely begs to be customized, whether you go full on Aztecing or just some battle damage, stuff like that. The smaller things like the Blockade Runner, the Falcon, totally needs paint. You're really going to need your miniature painting skills for that. I used the finest point brush I had, along with Gundam marker paint and some spray paints and other things like that, and then weathering, just to get those effects. Now, the only thing I'm sort of lacking of my own thing is here on the backside. I could have made this a little bit dirtier. I probably should have gone ahead and done the oil wash. In theory, I still could. It just would be a little dirtier. But I like it. I do want to get one, maybe two others, non-lighted, to build like a miniature fleet, kind of. And also make them cleaner. Like I said, this one's sort of seen some battle. I wouldn't mind some that are like pristine and new. And I kind of assume we'll see a slightly different version come out as soon as episode 9 has wrapped, because we do see the return of Imperial Star Destroyers, but they have a giant cannon on the bottom of it. And they also, judging by this one poster, have some red stripes kind of up there in the front. But overall, I suggest this thing if you're into doing miniatures, if you're really into shipbuilding. This is a very cool one. There's not a lot to the kit, so don't be super surprised there. So spend your time customizing it like I did. So this was roughly a 2-week process from start to beginning. From start to finish, it was roughly 2 weeks, and most of that was actually sitting and waiting for the oil paint to dry on the surface, which even by the time I started putting it together, if you're watching the build logs, it was not 100% dry, so still managed to get some stuff on my fingers. But in conclusion, great kit. Good job, Bandai. Can't wait to see more. It would be funny if they gave us a 1/5000 Executor, which would be huge. Even a 1/5000 Executor would be like 10 times the size of this. And it'd probably cost like $400. But that would be so funny. I would like to see some large Rebel ships in this scale, because there are some that are really big, like the medical frigate, the main things like that. I already forgot the name of them. But some of those ships are sizable. A Blockade Runner is actually fairly small, the Corvettes, stuff like that. But if they start mixing scales, it might be kind of cool. I know they have the main, like, 1/144th scale. I collect the 1/72nd scale for most of my ships. For my future project that I want to do, building a hangar out of my 1/72nd models, I need an A-wing, and that's like the first thing they did, and comes much harder to find. And I need a classic TIE fighter, which I can probably still get my hands on. TIE Interceptor? Probably not, but either way, guys, give a big old thumbs up on this video if you like what I've been doing here. Of course, check out all of the build logs. I'll have a playlist leading up to this, and stick around, because a video that we have not seen in a very long time. There's a The Point video for this coming up because I'm a dork like that. It is such a simple thing. I had to actually do a The Point video. But I'll catch you guys on the next review, the next build, whatever that'll be. Probably, I don't know, a Sandrock Gundam. But remember, as always, keep on building.